Hollywood is going to have to address how current wars are portrayed on film. Almost all prior wars in history that involved direct conflict have large epic battles that can enthrall audiences and create spectacles like the storming of Normandy Beach in Saving Private Ryan, or the assault on Fort Wagner in Glory. However, a lot of modern conflict now takes place on computer screens, high in the sky through drones without much direct military involvement. Now, that's not to say that there's no soldier-on-soldier conflict anymore, of course not, but the fact of the matter is, more and more drones are being created and piloted every single day, and it's not unreasonable to assume that future conflicts will be taking place remotely, with the combatants safe in control rooms. Eye in the Sky from director Gavin Hood, who directed the 2013 adaptation of Ender's Game, which also tackled the themes of remote-controlled warfare, he offers an in-depth look at the process behind drone missions in Eye in the Sky, and just how intense such a situation can be, especially when there's so much procedure to follow. Taking place almost entirely in real time, Eye in the Sky does a terrific job at demonstrating how global and far-reaching these military operations are. Helen Mirren's colonel wakes up before the sun even rises in the morning in England, Barkhad Abdi is on the ground in Kenya during a bright morning, and Aaron Paul is piloting a drone at night in Nevada. Eye in the Sky establishing the time in each respective country and hopping from morning to day to night so frequently helps to sell the fact that this is warfare in an increasingly connected world. All the while, everyone is able to communicate with everyone else and watch the action unfolding through numerous screens across the globe, with Alan Rickman's general relaying information in London with well-suited and well-dressed members of Parliament. Welcome to the new front line. Drone warfare is a very controversial subject that has proven effective but has also resulted in immense, incalculable collateral damage across the world. I say incalculable because the military often don't even know who they're killing or how many are being killed in the vast majority of drone strikes, whilst also allowing for effective surveillance of potential threats and also allowing the safe elimination or capture of many dangerous targets. Because of these complex pros and cons, the subject of drone warfare has to be tackled as an adult. We've seen what happens when movies go to one level of extreme, such as London Has Fallen, which is essentially acting as pro-drone, immature and dangerous propaganda, but Eye in the Sky is much more mature in its thought process, as it argues for both sides rather extensively. Things escalate in the movie when a kidnapping mission becomes a shoot-to-kill mission, and as a result, all of the protocols change and decisions have to be made very quickly in order to potentially prevent numerous deaths. However, when a young girl sets up a stand to sell bread right next to the danger zone, actions need to be taken to prevent her potential death. When Colonel Powell, played by Helen Mirren, sees her on the screen as a statistic, as in 80% chance of injury or 60% of life-threatening injury, and there are dozens of potential algorithms which will determine her fate, it's Pilot Watts, played by Aaron Paul, who is the one who will pull the trigger of the drone, while the Foreign Secretary, who has to approve the decisions, is stuck on the toilet. Yeah, about that last point, Eye in the Sky is as darkly funny as it is morally ambiguous. This is about as black a comedy as war movies can be because of some of the ridiculous scenarios that our heroes, quote-unquote, have to go through. As the chain of command goes higher and higher, more people try to divert responsibility in a desperate attempt to keep their hands clean. It's comical in its legitimate absurdity, and Alan Rickman's first scene even has him go into a toy shop in full military uniform to try and find a certain brand of doll, an errand he needs to run before work even though he's pretty much going to war. And then when the UK politicians start arguing about trying to win the propaganda war, just in case it's discovered that they approved potentially killing one innocent target to prevent the supposed further deaths of hundreds, Eye in the Sky is effortlessly able to straddle the lines between being a sharp, pitch-black comedy and also a deathly serious moral quandary, as it will stick with you for days, making you rack your brain for the best case scenario, but there is no definitive answer on that horizon. This is what an intelligent discussion looks like. London Has Fallen. It's the moral debates that takes up the brunt of the movie, with very little room here to flesh out these characters outside of their archetypal roles. It's mainly the cast that help to elevate the material, which, while hardly terrible or bad, doesn't do a great job at fleshing out or humanising the cast on a screenplay level. Helen Mirren is an ideal lead for this material, as she has the on-screen presence and imposing demeanour that commands respect. Aaron Paul possibly gives his best post-Breaking Bad performance, and Barkhad Abdi appears in his first role since his Academy Award-nominated turn in Captain Phillips, and he manages to impress here again. And it would be a shame to not mention the late Alan Rickman in his final on-screen role, who may only be a supporting player here, but he makes a substantial impression all the way through, as well as ending the movie with some incredibly powerful delivery, which hits home the fact that we really have lost a great talent. It's also worth mentioning actors in smaller roles like Phoebe Fox as the drone co-pilot, Ian Glenn as the Foreign Secretary, and Monica Dolan as one of the UK politicians opposing the drone strike. And let's not forget Bobo Cece as the risk assessment officer, who gets possibly one of the funniest, most deadpan moments of the entire film. Once again, these are small roles that wouldn't immediately leap off the page because of rather flat characterization, but thanks to strong casting and confident performances, it manages to engage more than it ideally should. It just makes me wonder how much more effective Eye in the Sky could have been if we knew exactly who was pulling the trigger and what is informing their hesitation out of this singular context. But Eye in the Sky is not a character study, it's a moral one. It just so happens that most of the conflict takes place as people across the world look at computer screens, with no car chases and very little gunfire being shown to the audience. I would dread to think what such a low concept, high tension idea would have been like in less capable hands. Because Eye in the Sky is a brilliantly polished production with brilliant location work, a terrific sense of atmosphere, and an omnipresent feeling of dread despite the drab indoor environments. To make these environments pop, the lighting is absolutely on point and helping to get across most of the dramatic heft. Like I said earlier, the sense of the time periods gives the movie a sense of variety, and the aerial drone footage is appropriately and effectively used. While we do have great location work, makeup and practical stunts, the real standout of the production is the razor-fine editing by Megan Gill, who makes the globe-hopping, screen-watching visuals somehow compelling and incredibly tense, even if there are some pauses that feel a second or two too long to try and draw out the moment. The way the locations are filmed helps the movie feel inherently cinematic and worthy of the big screen treatment, and the music by Paul Hepker and Mark Killian ratchets up the tension to armrest-ripping levels. Although there are a few elements like a high-tech camera fly and an almost comical electronic hummingbird, which makes this otherwise grounded narrative steep over into the realms of science fiction, and it doesn't really fully gel. So after all of that, here's my conclusion. Eye in the Sky takes a bold, uncompromising look at the new front line of warfare, and does so maturely and manages to observe and debate both sides of this immensely complex, topical issue. With 10,000 drones and counting circling the globe, these questions need to be asked, and Eye in the Sky is a gripping and tense thriller which is bolstered by strong performances that help to lend credence to characters who could have very easily come across as flat. It's a film that could have easily failed in less capable hands, but director Gavin Hood and editor Megan Gill have orchestrated an ambiguous and mature war movie that will leave you wrestling with the questions it poses for days after watching it, and even then, you probably still won't have the answers. I give Eye in the Sky 4 stars out of 5.
Given the new circumstances, I think we should abort.
You have number 4 and 5 on the president's kill list in your sights. You are putting the whole mission at risk because of one collateral damage issue?
Minister.
Hello everyone, thanks for listening to my review. You can find these reviews a day or two early on my website, www.trilbee.com, so be sure to visit there where you can find a written version and other written content. But more importantly, what did you think of the film? Be sure to let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe for more movie related analysis. Be sure to hit that like button because that really helps me out, and you can support my content through Patreon and also get your name in the credits with these other lovely people and get exclusive perks and updates. I'll see you folks next time.